What I wanted to say is in response to your earlier comment about the president saying that, he has unlimited power.
He doesn't?
He does not. And I say this to you as someone who has graded a lot of law students in my life. That is an F answer, like an absolute F. And in fact, I teach the Constitution to Boy Scouts. I'm a merit badge counselor for the Citizenship and the Nation Merit Badge. And one of the things that I drive home to the Scouts, and these are 12 and 13 and 14-year-old boys who understand this concept that the president doesn't, is that the largest sets of powers in our Constitution reside with the legislature. They reside with Congress. Why? Because Congress is the closest to the people, right? And so this idea that Article 2 is somehow some limitless residual pot of power is simply a fiction, and it's something that he's simply saying and trying to make it true by repeating it.
And that often works very well for him with a certain portion of the country. If you were there tomorrow asking questions, what do you think is absolutely vital that needs to come from Mr. Mueller?
Yeah, no, I think I would ask whether after doing his report and spending the time and using the resources he did, whether he can exonerate the president, yes or no.
What do you think he says?
He's going to have to say no. He cannot exonerate the president because that is what the report says. So he said he's going to stick to his report, that his report is his testimony. And the report says very clearly, this is verbatim, essentially, it says, if we could clearly state
we would.
We would.
Right.
And we cannot
There's
so
a lot
state.
of double speak in there, though. There's double speak about why
so I would ask him in a yes or no format. I would simply say,
that's the key.
Can you exonerate, after having done your report, are you able to exonerate the president? And he's going to have to say no if he's consistent.
So you have to go yes or no answers, because if you ask for an opinion on something or a rationale that goes to an opinion, I think you're going to wind up having a short day.
And then I think you just ask, did you find evidence of obstruction of justice, acts of obstruction of justice, yes or no?
The other side's going to say, but enough to be a crime?
Well, but listen, obstruction of justice is a crime. Let's be clear. It's not this is not a sliding scale. There's not like kind of half murdered, all right? You either obstructed justice or you did not obstruct justice.
You could have been endeavoring to obstruct, but wouldn't the other side push on the point of, but was it enough to charge? Well, was it a little bit of proof or was it a lot of proof?
This is a great point. I think this is something I kind of reinforce to people when I'm talking to them in my district is what is the role of the House of Representatives versus the role of the Senate? And this was really carefully thought about by our founders. The role of the House is to conclude, is there enough evidence that there needs to be an evidentiary trial held by the Senate? It's not our job in the House of Representatives to ultimately remove the president from office. It's our job to make a decision about whether or not there's enough evidence to impeach. Impeach does not mean to remove from office.
100%. That's why I don't
send it to the Senate.
Now, you and I had this discussion once before when you were figuring out what to do, and I had a lot of respect for your deliberative process on it. You were like, I gotta make a decision on this. If that is the role, and that is the role, it's in the Constitution, that's what an impeachment inquiry is, not this scramble of oversight hearings that are going in 8 different directions at once. It doesn't mean that you're impeaching the president. It means that you're doing the fact-finding mission the way the Constitution tells you. All right, one other thing. I'm not giving you my taxes because it's a violation of my First Amendment right.
No, not correct.
But I was a private citizen when I was paying those taxes.
Too bad. You chose to run for president. When you ran for president, there was an existing law on the books, a law that dates back, by the way, to 1924, that said that the Ways and Means Committee could request the taxes of the president, and they would have to be provided. So President Trump knew this law existed when he ran. He said...
Hold on a second. You think the president knew that law existed when he ran?
Ignorance is no defense.
The man who just said Article 2 lets me do whatever I want to do under the Constitution?
Ignorance of the law is no defense.
Okay.
So maybe I would not want to speculate as to what the president does and does not understand about the rule of law, because I think that would be hard to know where to stop.
But there is no law that says, as president, I must give over my taxes. It's a custom. I gave you way more than the FEC wants.
Incorrect. There is a law that says, upon request from the chairperson of the Ways and Means Committee, the IRS shall furnish the president's taxes. And this is a law enacted in 1924. It's an old law. It was enacted in the wake of the Teapot Dome scandal. And it was enacted to make sure that Congress had the ability to do oversight. Because at the time, and still today, the president has the ability to get any of our taxes. He controls the IRS.
So you say that case goes nowhere?
No, he's going to lose this case on the federal tax returns, absolutely.
Professor,
thank you so
very
much.
much.